Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Sinead Says podcast. Guys, I am very pregnant right now. I am literally popping out of everything that I'm wearing, and oh my god, everything is expanding, everything is large, everything is swollen. And yes, I think I'm at this stage 29 weeks, nearly 30 weeks pregnant. And yeah, I'm going to catch up on all things that as well in the next episode, which I'm so excited for. This episode is kind of like a very usual episode that you might get from me, like something to enhance your life. It's all about removing suffering and becoming success by following the spiritual steps, but also kind of putting them into everyday play. Because I feel like when you read all those spiritual books, and I read all those spiritual books, it's all kind of like the lingo is sometimes just doesn't get through to you and people don't understand. That's why, like, one thing that I always think that I'm really good at is reading a book and really finding the message and finding a way to like make it really relatable so that you guys understand. And I actually got a lovely actually met a girl today, or she came to my class, my meditation class recently, and she just came up to me and said thank you. She actually gave me a little book today, and she just wanted to say thank you for everything, for the podcast and everything as well. And it was just like this little push from the universe that I really needed. I always say that, like, people coming up to me and saying like, oh, that really helped me, or your podcast really helped me, like, always gives that little push when I'm not feeling confident, or I'm not feeling like, because obviously like the podcast world is, it's fancy studios and it's big budgets, and like I don't have any of that at the minute. I just have me sitting in my spare room that will soon be a baby room. And I sometimes think, should I be at a bigger stage and all this? But anyway, like, that little message from the universe was like, people are listening, they enjoy it, and they help. So this one's all about like helping, bit of personal development. We're going to dive into like the 7 spiritual laws of success. It's a book that we read in book club, and I thought I would just like do it in my own words and like try to explain to you guys how implementing these small, simple steps can take away all your suffering, in my opinion. So before we get into that, obviously we have to thank our sponsor, which is BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online therapy platform, and I talk about therapy all the time. I actually changed therapists recently because I went back and she didn't have the same times. To be honest, I'm working a lot and I don't have the time. I'm working so much at the minute, guys. Honestly, Sam even said to me last night, he's like, I really appreciate all the work you're doing. Because obviously I'm just trying to work as much as I can before the baby comes, and I'm kind of stressed. But anyway, so I actually changed and I found someone who's local enough in BetterHelp. And yeah, it's been lovely because I feel like I do like these like 6 week stints, usually 6 to 8 weeks in therapy. If like something's going wrong, if I want to enhance my relationship, if there's something in the relationship that we need to be working on, if there's something like right now, it's more like managing ADHD. That my last therapist really helped me with that as well. But that was before I got diagnosed. And now I feel like I'd love to take some steps and get ready for baby coming, and also to get ready for, like, I'm reading all these like psychology books for children, and for which I feel like as well it's more like when the child is like 4 or 5, when, well, not really actually, but and I just want to make sure I'm the best mom. So yeah, I don't even know what I'm talking about, I'm spinning. But anyway, if you want to try BetterHelp, you can get 10% off your first month with betterhelp.com/Sinead. That is betterhelp.com/Sinead. So let's get into the episode, and we will properly update. No, this baby is moving crazy. I can't believe how much my baby is moving. I am like, oh my God, is this baby really going to be really hyper? Because it just kicks me all day, every day. And the doctor is like, is there no rhythms like when you're, and I'm like, no, it's all day, every day. I genuinely think that baby moves in my bed all day, every day. But anyway, I hope that's okay. If they said that was okay. Okay, so the 7 spiritual laws of success, right, is a small book, right? You can literally get on Spotify for free, guys. You can literally go right now. It's 1 hour. But also the thing about it is obviously it comes from, like Vedic wisdom. And I'm kind of like, I know how to interpret things. That's something that I feel like I am good at, like interpreting like messages and things like that into like you guys. So that's what this podcast is all about, isn't it? It's about me like getting into psychology, but like making it relatable so that you guys become aware of it and become better people. And the 7 spiritual laws of success is obviously something that I have been working on my entire life, because I have been a very spiritual person for years. And when you follow in alignment of the 7 spiritual laws, usually you are living a very successful life, but like it is hard to, you're constantly practicing those laws, right? Those, I don't like to call them laws. And that's not a good thing about spirituality and about all this stuff, is that it's kind of like there's no do this, do that, this is good, this is bad, this is it. This is like, here's a way of living. If you want to live like this, you will live like a lovely way of living. But I'm going to go through each law and like talk about what I interpreted from each of the laws. And I think it's just going to help you so much, because you can always come back to this when you feel unaligned. And you can always be like, okay, what part is unaligned and what part can I fix? Because when you're in alignment with these laws and these 7 spiritual ways of success, then like your true higher self will be in full form, which will lead to dharma, success, happiness, no suffering. I think the main thing is, he didn't mention in the book, is that what I would say is that the spiritual way of being and the 7 spiritual laws like takes away suffering when you practice it correctly. But spirituality is a practice. I'm always practicing my spirituality every single day. There's always things that come up and I'm like, oh my God, resist, 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 attack, defense, ego. And then I have to be like, right, remember that that is not going to do me any good, but we will get into it. And let me know if you like this podcast as well, or review, or tell your friends about it. Just that would be great. That would be lovely. Thank you very much. Now, where am I going? It's so funny because my hands just go to the wrong places. When I'm going on my phone, I just go straight to like Instagram or anything. I'm actually still doing my digital detox 14 hours a day, which has been amazing. I actually will do a podcast on that as well, like how to break up with your phone and get your dopamine back, because honestly, my dopamine was depleted for so long because I was constantly depleting it with these fast videos and just waking up in the morning and scrolling. And to be honest, it was affecting my relationship. Do you know what I mean? And in terms of, well, now that I'm not on my phone in the morning and in the night, I turn my phone off. I turn my apps off through an app called Opal, which I'm obsessed with. And it turns my things off for till 9 p.m. at night until 12:30 the next day, until lunchtime. So it's past lunchtime now, so my phone is still is alive. But I've noticed that like even I've wanted to be closer to Sam, I want to have conversations with him, because like if I'm stimulated by something else, I'm not going to want to be bored enough to asking him a question or to cuddle him or to get like oxytocin properly. So anyway, we'll talk about that more. And plus we are doing a challenge on our meditation app as well, that's going to help people break up with their phones. And also we are actually doing a meditation challenge this week, which will incorporate all the 7 rules of success, spiritual success. I have written them and I'm so excited. And I got so many messages doing my own ones as well. So I haven't talked about the app in so long. So our app is amazing, guys. I'm not even joking. We have just upgraded it. It's gotten so much better. There's so many new features on it. And we have like nearly, I would say we've probably got 100 meditations at this point. And they're so specific and there's so many challenges. The good thing about the Brave Way is that like there's loads of like paths and challenges. It's not just like random. And like we give you a meditation of the day every day and we have a tracker. But anyway, you can use code meditate, I think, if it's still running from the last season. But yeah, check it out. It's literally $12.99. And with that discount, I'm pretty sure that's 10:39. Come on, guys. That's nothing. It's not even a yoga class. Anyway, so the 7 spiritual laws of success, I'm going to dive right into it and tell you exactly what they mean. I'm not going to keep you here all day. I'm going to try and get to the good ones, all right? Because some of them kind of are self-explanatory. But I always say that it's living a life without suffering. And that's what you're trying to do, basically, aren't you? Because most of the times I will see girls or in my DMs and they're suffering. Why? Because lack of acceptance of where they are, lack of their attaching themselves to the outcomes and stuff like that. We're going to talk about all that. But the first one is the Law of Pure Potentiality. Okay, so now there's a few things that he describes in this, right? But the Law of Pure Potentiality for me feels like knowing that there is pure conscious potential and there is pure potential in your life, because how we're growing up, who we're surrounded by creates these barriers, right? Creates these belief systems that we have to stay within them things. Like if you never grew up around successful entrepreneurs or people starting their own business, like that would stunt your own belief system of starting a business. if you grew up around people who are constantly judging, gossiping, there's a lot of negativity, that's going to make your belief system feel like that's what you need to do, and that people judge you when you do something out of your comfort zone. Like everything that you usually feel is because of like what's around you in your environment. But like the law of pure potentiality is that you need to see outside the scope of that and know that you, before all the labels, before everything, was that you were just pure potential and you could do absolutely anything that you want. And I think a good one for the law of pure potential or potentiality or is looking. A good example of this is when I went to Bali the other day. I went to Bali, a group of girls come to me, they're Irish, a few girls come to me, and they were like, and I'm pregnant, so I'm sober, so they had a few drinks in them, and they were just like, Sinead, like, you're the reason we're here, you're the reason I could feel like I could work and do work remotely and do this coaching business and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, wow, that really is the law of pure potentiality because of what's possible. Basically, knowing that there's a whole possibility out there, knowing that you can do something. But for example, like if they never had Instagram or they never seen me in Bali, working in Bali, creating a life for myself there, they probably would have never thought that that existed. So it's about opening that whole scope of potentiality and knowing that there is. So the law of potentiality is not about it's not about chasing, it's not about action right now. It's basically just like if you actually want something, you can grab it and you can get it if you put the actions in place. But if you put the actions up to place, that's up to you. But knowing there is this realm of pure possibility that anything could happen, that is your beginning point of your success towards this, right? So looking at other people, role models is so important because everyone's like, well, I couldn't do that. But like there is people that came from absolutely nothing and is super successful. So if you had the same formula, you would be able to have that. If you took the same steps, the same actions, did the same courses, did the same thing, and you had the beliefs, you probably would have access to that realm. And that's what it's about. I'm not asking you right now to go for it. I'm just telling you that there is a possible realm of pure potentiality. It's about training your mind, right? To be like, okay, where does that come from? The other day I was walking down the road and I seen a pink Porsche, right? Random. And I was going, what a cool car. What a cool car. And my brain automatically went, oh, you'll never have a pink Porsche, right? That's an automatic system of like, where I was growing up, my environment, who I'm around. Like, people don't have pink Porsches. People don't, unless you're born into money, like that's the kind of belief system that you have, that you're not going to just get a pink Porsche. But I looked at it and instead of letting my mind go, oh, I'll never have a pink Porsche. Now, I don't really want a pink Porsche, but anyway, this is how you train your mind to practice spirituality and to practice success. And it's not about the pink Porsche, even though, but it just reminded me because I just automatically, my brain went, oh, you couldn't have a pink Porsche, right? But realistically, I probably could have a pink Porsche if I put action into place. If I started a business from scratch, if I started a business with a certain amount of money that I had, there's plenty of people that started a business that was so successful that they could buy a pink Porsche with the money that I probably have in my bank account, right? So I had to go, oh, actually, you know what? If I actually wanted a pink Porsche, I probably could. I just need to put action and steps into place. Whether I take those actions and whether I take those things into place, then that's up to me. But knowing, like, I'm automatically, I was going, open the realm and went, actually, if I wanted, I can have it. Do I want to put in the work right now when I'm pregnant? Probably not. But the realm of possibility does exist. But yeah, so that's kind of what that's all about, right? Looking at people and being like, oh, I seen her do that. Like, you might see me doing a podcast. You might see me doing a meditation course. I might be like, well, I can do meditation course. I can be that. I can be a teacher. I can be this. Like, it's about opening that scope and that realm and knowing that there is pure potentiality. He talks about a few other things within it that I won't get too much into because he talks about like if you want to enter this realm, you have to find silence. For me, silence takes away what other people's, like meditation takes away other people's thoughts and belief systems, right? Because you're telling your mind to no, right? And you're trying to come back, you're trying to come back, you're trying to come back. Yes, thoughts will pop up, but over time, you'll have a lot more space and you'll be saying no to the conditioned patterns and saying no to thoughts that don't serve you. So when you start removing those, because most of the thoughts that we're thinking are actually not ours. They're conditioned patterns passed down from people And when we actually look at it and we start to meditate and we move them out and we have that space, that is when we truly find our higher self and our true self in that space. And silence is really important, and meditation is really important for understanding that there is pure possibility out there. For me, it's about removing other people's thoughts and wants and needs and their voice in my head. And that will help you get into that realm of possibilities. Also, there's ways to apply these things, right? So the law of potential and our potentiality, one of the good things is to look at things with no judgment. How to apply it is to look at things with absolutely no judgment. They're not good, not bad. Sometimes we look at people and we be like, oh, that's bad, that's good. It's like looking at everything in your day and having no judgment. Just that is what it is, right? That girl enjoying herself, that girl talking on TikTok, no judgment. It's like saying to yourself per day, today I won't judge anything. I'm just going to let it be as it is. All right. And not judging things will help you fall into that realm. I've like, everybody can be whoever they want to be. I can be whoever I want to be. So yeah, the next one is the law of giving and receiving. And the law of giving and receiving is probably one of my lovely, lovely things that this is what I mean. I always tell people about spirituality is like, act as if it works, even if you don't believe it works at the start. The law of giving and receiving, it talks about like giving and receiving create the same energy. Okay. We're so caught up on like receiving, right? Oh my God, I want to manifest this. I want to manifest this. But we don't understand that actually giving creates the same beautiful energy as receiving something. And I truly believe that if you give more, that you're going to receive anyway, because you're going to receive the feeling of the giving. And it's probably what life for me is all about. Again, it's kind of similar to what we're going to talk about in the next law, which is the law of karma, which is about like planting seeds. But a good way to just begin the law of giving and receiving is to just start the process of the energy exchange. You start giving, and then you realize that it always comes back to you. Not that it always comes back to you, but even the feeling of giving will give you such a successful feeling in your body. And the best kind of things that you need to give are actually non-material. So this is old school, but prayer. Praying for someone. I light a candle. I have a holy candle. When people have jobs on, when people are in need, I put the holy candle on. I say, in my meditations as well, I always give love and I always give strength to people in my meditations. And it is a beautiful feeling that you can receive by just giving energy like that. Giving a compliment, wishing somebody well, giving someone a nice gift. It doesn't even have to be material, but obviously, like I personally on a Monday always give a coffee to a stranger or someone behind me. I just feel like it sets me up for a nice wee bit of energy. I like to give to charity. I like to think, how can I give back? And that's all kind of what really matters when I think about fulfillment. I think about giving, right? When I'm doing this for you today, I'm giving you information on how to have a better and successful life. So it's good flowing energy for me. But just putting that into action and just give people something, and also receiving the gifts of nature. So it's about abundance, right? Going out and receiving you thinking of nature as like giving you a gift. Sunlight, looking at the grass, looking at everything. It's a really nice energy flow. Which brings me into the next one, which is the law of karma. I've done loads of meditations on this as well, because karma for me, some people don't believe in karma. That's totally fine. But I act as if karma is real, and that creates a better life for me. So even if you don't believe in karma or you don't believe in that sort of thing, that's fine. Okay. But I always tell people, just act as if karma is real and your life will transform. So knowing that everything is a choice, we can choose kindness. We can implant. I did like a meditation basically, and it's all about planting seeds of karma, right? And seeing what happens, like changing your own karma and planting seeds of kindness, of compassion, of forgiveness. It's kind of like everything that you give out, it's like you're going to get it back. All right. So just imagine that flow of energy. And then you ask yourself every day, what are the consequences of this a choice? Does this choice lead me to the life I desire? So even like if you're about to judge someone, or you're about to be nasty, or you're about to flip someone off in the car, imagine that it has consequences basically, and it will transform your entire life. So every day you have choice, and you have choice to change your karma and to plant the seeds so that it always comes back and it always reaps for you. And that can be forgiveness. That can be through giving compassion to others and to loved ones. And then also with karma, you might realize in karma when you're going into these emotions. So obviously you will notice that if you give good, you're going to get good back. Then you start to be like, God, did all my actions create some bad stuff, right? And what he says is some actions are just so unconscious because of like the insecurity, the ego that we have, and the things that happen. And, you know, when we actually make a choice consciously, that's the thing. When you become and put all these choices into conscious effort, see all those other choices that you made, they were unconscious. Like you flirting with someone that you shouldn't have been flirting with, unconscious because you're insecure, right? You're going through an insecurity that made you feel good, right? You stole something when you were younger because most of the time you just want to be loved by your friends, and they stole something, so you stole something. It's like all these unconscious choices because of like your ego. And like I obviously do recognize stuff like that too. I'm like, God, did that happen because of that? I always think just move forward. Sometimes you have to look back and think, God, did I create all those weeds instead of planting the seeds of kindness? But like it's about moving forward and making a choice and being like, does this create the desired life that I want? And that's the questions that I want to ask you. And also, like, first of all, I want to say, listen to your body at all times when it comes to karma. So usually if you say, is this choice good for me? You'll feel it in your body straight away. Like for me, it's very difficult now to have conversations where people are judging people. We might have the odd wee gossip and the odd wee thing, and we might have a little bit here and there. But like, well, for the most part, it doesn't feel that good in my body. But your body will tell you all the time if that choice is going to create your desired life. So please listen out for how you feel in situations, and the things that you do and the things that you say. He talks about karmic debts and about paying these karmic debts. And he does say, like, there is no karmic debt that goes unpaid, but how to look at these things is, how can I make this debt useful for my fellow human beings? How can I learn from it? And usually, like, when you're going through something difficult and you're going through something hard, you can't resist that situation and go, why me? Why all this stuff? Blah, blah, blah. Is it because I did this? Is it because of that? But it's about, like, how can I learn from this situation? And you usually learn when you bring awareness to all these things. So bringing awareness is like the first step. And obviously when you bring awareness to your karmic energy, like I just say, like, just give for the sake of giving. Like Sam's always a person that, like, oh, if you buy me a drink, I buy you one back. If you do this, you do that, and you do that. If I give you a lift, you give me a lift back. Why would you give them a lift? They don't have a car, Sinead. Like, I'm always like, you just have to implant seeds of kindness in your day. Like, it makes me feel good to go out of my way to do things for people. And some people think like, oh, you don't let people take the piss out of you. People say to me all the time, Sinead, you get walked over. Sinead, you get taken advantage of. You shouldn't give that person that. You shouldn't give it. And I just go, well, I really enjoy it. Sometimes people take the piss, yeah, but I really enjoy it. Like, I work hard to give my money to my friends, to give my, like, I don't know. I like it. Maybe there's something wrong with me. I don't know. I know you can transcend your own karmic energy. I might actually put the Change Your Karma meditation in the podcast, in these listenings. So if you want to listen to that meditation in the podcast, you can now put comments in the Spotify, so please do that. You're just going to become a conscious choice maker from now on. And honestly, guys, watch your life transform. I think that's the biggest thing in these rules is the karma thing and the law of giving. I just feel like there's no better feeling and there's no better energy shift than thinking and knowing that you're making conscious choices towards your own future. I always think about when I do something nice for Sam, when I get him a nice present, when I give him a nice compliment, when I bring him a coffee in bed or something, then he always does it back to me, always does it back. And sometimes he has his own wee things that he does first. And then I go, oh, I better give him something back. Not because it's an energy exchange or like I need to give something back. It's because he gives me the love that I want and I want to give back because he loves, like, it's just like an energy exchange. And you'll notice that if you actually act how you want to be loved, then you're going to get that love back usually from someone, especially if they're in the same energy as you. So always notice that even if you're friends, hey, do you need a lift to the airport? Hey, do you need me to go to the chemist for you? Hey, do you want me to grab you some stuff like from the shop and bring it over to you? Hey, here's $20 to go get yourself a lovely little coffee today. Miss you. Yeah, these things just make life better. Okay. So the next one is the law of least effort. And I find this one is very similar to the next one, but the law of least effort, he talks about the grass doesn't try, it just grows. Stars, they just sparkle. And we as humans are supposed to manifest and attract our dreams. All right. It's like we are supposed to do this, right? It's like the law of least effort. It's like we are undeserving of the life that we desire. The reason why we don't manifest things and the reason why we don't get what we want is usually because our standards are lower, our expectations are lower of ourselves. And we don't believe that we can achieve certain things. And I'm down that path with you too. I'm like, God, I don't know if I want to, I stump my own growth sometimes because I don't know if I'm ready for bigger things because I'm not that at that place where, do I deserve that? I have to work on those things slowly but surely. But I think the law of least effort, what I got from that was that we are supposed to create our desired life. We do deserve it. And we don't need to chase. We just attract by being a good person. It's like we just do the law of karma, put intentions in, and things will happen. And if they don't happen, there's a reason for it. And it's like all this kind of thing. Like the notes I wrote down is more like the law of least effort is all about real acceptance for the moment as it should be. The moment is what it is. Whether you think it's good or bad, the moment is. All right. And it's about full acceptance and just letting life unfold for you and embracing the uncertainty and also not wishing it another way. That's kind of like the hard thing about spirituality is that the whole point is to accept where you are, release the resistance and accept everything and stop wishing it for another way because that creates the lack. That creates the resistance in your mind. That creates the suffering, the comparing of wanting something else. So you have to practice even with like knowing that you deserve more and having these intentions and having these goals is that not to wish it another way because everything that's happening to you right now is meant to be. It reminds me of me asking for my purpose years ago and me going through the worst breakup of my entire life to come out of and helping people with their breakups and helping people not be alone. And, I asked for something, I let it happen. That was what was meant to happen. My purpose was like doing this podcast, doing these things for people. And sometimes those bad things that are happening that you deem bad, we're not meant to deem them anything. But those situations that happen in life are there because they're to make you the person that you're supposed to be on this earth. And a good one for this is like removing defensiveness. Something that I think we all need to practice. Like, you think you're valid, your ways are valid. I find this a very difficult one to practice because if you think your ways are valid, like Sam can be very defensive. He's like, well, I didn't say that. Now, I can read Sam like an absolute book. It's actually petrifying how much I can read that human. But he thinks, he's like, I can read every minute of him, but he's just not aware of his own actions because he's getting into his awareness mode for sure over this last like while. But like, there's things where I'm going, well, I know why you did that. But I just can't really sit there and tell him because he gets defensive and he's like, I don't do it because he doesn't realize himself. And I find that removing defensiveness is like when I get defensive, okay, step back. Why do I need them to see my point here? Why do I need them to do this? That is the hardest one. So when he said that, I was like, oh God, well, how do you just remove all your defensiveness? Because, that is something that we all struggle with. But anyway, knowing that every problem is an opportunity in disguise. So that's another one of law of least effort is that, like I said before, all these things that are meant to happen. I was meant to go through a bad breakup. I was meant to go through these things to help people. I even say to people, I was meant to have endometriosis because so many people now have awareness of endometriosis and I've done so much awareness campaigns. And I always feel like so many people are getting help. People that were in severe pain and really needed help because they kind of have a bit more awareness of the situation. So sometimes I like to just see every opportunity as like a chance for opportunity. I don't know. Okay. Law of intention and desire. So he believes Like spirituality believes that the universe has infinite organizing power when you put a specific attention on things and intention on things. So like what you put your attention on grows, right? And I believe that. I feel like when you're focused on something, when you're like, for me, I'm like, okay, here's a good one. The intention to have more like-minded friends, to have more people like me around me, right? So without that intention, how would I find them? Because then they come into my space and I go, oh my God, you're actually being sent to me because that's what I asked for, because you are like the person that I would like to be friends with, and then you put yourself more in these situations because the intention is out there, like the intention to, be healthy, like putting in that attention to feel healthy, to feel good in your body. You're going to be more inclined to choose the healthier option, to choose the walk, to choose the gym if you put the intention out there. And he just says that whatever you put your attention on just grows. Attention triggers transformation of energy and information, and everything has this infinite organizing power, the intention. And I always think, like, even if you do this now, if you think of someone, think of your friend that you haven't chatted to in ages, and just think of them and think, God, I need to call them. And I have that all the time where I think, God, I gotta call them. And then I go, oh, it's not really the right time or whatever. And then they fucking call me. And I go, I was just fucking thinking about you. It's like magic. I even say, like, I used to be like, okay, I want to go for a coffee with someone. I wonder if someone will ask me for a coffee this week. I'm going to put the attention out there. And somebody will. Somebody usually does. It's weird how intention works. But I've actually read an entire book on the power of intention by Wayne Dwyer, and how putting your intention and attention on things will eventually create this life because you have the intent. And just start small, guys. What's my intentions of the week? What's my intention in my spiritual practice? What's my intention in my relationship? What's my intention in my friendships, in my work? I always do. If you have the app, the morning intentions on a Monday, in the toolbox in our app, and I always be like, right, okay, for the week, these are the things I want to feel. I want to feel like this is the end of the week. I want to feel accomplished. I want to feel this, and these are the goals that I want to do. And usually, then when you have them all, then you start like figuring it all out. But also, he talks about using intent with the good of mankind. When you're aligned with like these 7 spiritual laws and you're in alignment, this will all unfold. So he's kind of like, you can't intend to be a millionaire, right? For no reason. It's more like it has to be the power of mankind, right? And I get this all the time. And I actually had a very enlightening experience doing you guys won't have it yet if you're in the app, but it's a new meditation course. But basically, I was getting my own messages from obviously writing the meditation and then doing the meditation. And I always talk about feeling lack in Australia because it's not really possible to buy a house, right? It's like so impossible if you're someone, right? I just don't know, well, whatever. And I'm like, right, how am I going to get this? I want a house. I would love a house. Like, that's all I've wanted, a house. It's all I've saved for my whole life. And it's like, lack, 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 lack. And I did the meditation that I had written, and I'd done it, and I had space, and I got this message downloaded from like, you can call it your higher self, you can call it your spirit, you can call it whatever you want. But it was basically like, you're not wanting the money for the right reasons, Sinead. If we, like the universe, if we give you more money, you have to use it to make your message bigger, because more people need to hear what you're trying to say. And you need to stop being afraid and not booking like more things like retreats, shows. And sometimes I do hide away in my house and hide away behind my app and making meditations, like, which is my favorite thing in the world. But it's like the consciousness of the universe wants me to do something bigger. It wants me to keep continuing and going and growing, right? And I remember being like, oh God, that's what I got from that meditation. I remember thinking, because my intent was this security, right? When realistically, there's no such thing as like real security. Like, life is full of uncertainties, right? And I was chasing it for the wrong reasons. Like, I'm chasing it for a material thing. So I have to get rid of that. And then that's when all the other laws come in, the law of least effort, the law of detachment, realizing that like the outcome of the house is not really a need for my happiness, right? Because I am happy living here. And I said to myself, it's a good thing to think, if I want to rent forever, I can rent forever because I'd be happy. I have me, have Sam, have my baby in my belly. Like, why am I attached to something else right now? And like, I realized then that of course that's not going to come to me because my intent doesn't feel the good for mankind. Whilst if, which I'm doing right now, is I'm hiring more people. I've hired more people to help with the business to create more like advertising and marketing so that like more people can hear meditations and feel like they're more accessible. Our meditation app is very affordable and like people can access higher states of consciousness. And like that's kind of like what it's about. If I'm going to get more money, I gotta put it somewhere else. I gotta hire more people, do more things, do more shows, do more things because that's for the good of mankind. Like me having a nice house is not for the good of mankind, you know? So then that's just the little lessons that, I can take with you. So if you want to do the law of intention, we actually have a free intention meditation on this podcast somewhere. You can just type in intention and Sinead says podcast. It will come up. Actually, if you type in the Brave Way meditations, there's any sort of meditations are on there. I think you should make sure there's no ads on those actually because we started doing automatic ads. Next is, so to do for your law of intention is to make an intention list. You need, again, meditation and silence and surrender and knowing that there is a plan. Okay, next one, the law of detachment. We are nearly there. The law of detachment is the hardest one for a lot of people because in order to require anything in the physical universe, he says, you have to relinquish your attachment to the desired outcome, to the outcome. So you don't actually give up your intention of the desire. You just release the attachment to the outcome. So it's kind of like what I just said there before. Like I'm like, oh, I need that. But I don't actually need that. I deserve that. And I can achieve that. But I don't need that, right? And it's about detaching and not strangling it. One of the girls at book club, she was like, but I really want this. And I goes, you're strangling it. Everything will come to you in good time when you're ready, when all your lessons have been learned, when it makes sense. Like it's like, I need this. I want this, like strangling it, right? You don't want to strangle it. You want to be like, I deserve this. I will get this one day. But I don't need this to be happy because I have true abundance within me. And that's another thing that you have to work on, your abundance for your everyday life. I'm happy. I have a great life. I am grateful for the little things in life, and that's what it's all about. The non-material bits are the ones that make you happy. Those material bits that we think that we want, yes, they're a plus, and they actually do come into fruition when you're living in alignment. Because the person who needs nothing gets everything, as they say, and it usually comes in then. But it's all about surrendering and letting go. Like the intention to have like-minded friends or to have better health and better emotions and better thoughts. You put the attention out there and everything is going to come into fruition. That's kind of like what the law of detachment is about. And he says, without detachment, we are prisoners, right? Because we're wanting, we are needing, we're always chasing something that we don't have right now. So you have to know that you deserve that. You want that. You deserve that. You desire that. You can put an intention out there. But what happens on the way there is also very important for your life and for your growth. So he also says seeking security and money or greed can be a never ending. It's how you see it. The richest people in the world can also be the most insecure. So a lot of people that are like chasing money, chasing things, think they're chasing the security. Like the more money that I always think that you have, then it's like, oh my God, what if I lose it all? It's like chasing something that doesn't even make you feel secure. All right. So it's about letting go of the detachment and knowing that like happiness comes from abundance, creating abundance, gratitude, little things in life, connections, all the things. And he talks about the search for security as a myth in Vedic teaching. And I love Vedic teaching as well. Okay, my camera stopped, but we're back. So basically I was talking about the search for security as a myth in Vedic teaching, right? So I love Vedic teaching as well. So I did Vedic meditation teacher training, and I just love their way of being as well. Like I feel like we can take everything with our own little pinches of salt, and we can do certain things our own way. That's why I'm like telling you the way I see these rules. But they call it wisdom of insecurity, which means the search of security is actually an attachment to the known. Okay. So if you're like, oh my God, I need this house, I need this, it's like you're attached to what is known. All right. You're not leaving any space for what is unknown. And they talk about embracing the unknown and embracing the uncertainty of life. Because every moment of your life can be fun, exciting, and uncertainty is one of the biggest things in life. But if you're attached to something like, I want to be married by this time, I want to have a job that looks like this, I want to do that, like I need that by that time. It's like you're attached to the known instead of embracing the unknown. And I always say, like, your inner guidance system is really, really important in all aspects of your life, because people always say to me, oh, Sinead, would you ever move home? Would you ever do this? And I would never say yes, no, because every part of my life has taught me something different and made me go in different directions. So if you would have asked me 10 years ago, where would I like to live? I'd say Magaluf. At that time, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm never leaving here. You know, I always leave room for the unknown and the uncertainty. Like, I think, God, you know, if my mum needed me, like I'd be home. Like, you know, things like that. Like, you just don't know what is going to happen. And that is why, like, you have to always embrace the unknown and get excited that, like, life can take you on another path to teach you a new lesson or to bring you on a better, even better path. Like, I think about the path that I'm on now, and, you know, if some of the things that didn't happen to me, like the bad things, would I be in this position? Probably not, not at all. So embrace the uncertainty and don't attach to that security. Don't attach to the known. So I really, really love that little bit. It kind of reminded me, like, as well. Um, I don't know if you know my friend Siobhan, but she always, like, when she lived away from home, she like really didn't like home, and she was like, oh no, I'd never live there. And I used to say, you never know. You never know. Your inner guidance system can call you back, and it'll be like that. And then that's what happened, you know. So it's always like, don't place yourself like, this is definitely what's going to happen. People are like, oh, you're going to live in Australia forever. Like, me and Sam both are like, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know. Like, if you asked us last year, we'd be like, we are never leaving Sydney ever in our life. But now that we're having a child and we want our child to have like that kind of like family life, we might move to the Gold Coast, we might move up the coast. All these things happen, and we're supposed to embrace the uncertainty. So that's the whole thing about the law of detachment. Let it all come in. Make intentions, know that things are coming and the answers will come. But like, that law of detachment is just embracing the unknown. Yeah. So don't attach to the future of what you expect your future to be. Leave that wriggle room, and it will also give you this massive acceptance and freedom. Like, you gain freedom knowing that, like, you don't know what's going to happen. Like, 10 years ago, I was a PT, and now I'm own a meditation app. Like, things change. There is infinite possibilities. So don't force solutions, you know, let things kind of happen. So how to apply this law: release control, detach, make your intention, let it flow. The universe will give you the right lessons at the right time, and you have to just let it all come in. Don't force any solutions and accept uncertainty. All right. Now we're going on to the last law, which is my favorite law. And I wrote a lovely meditation after I read this chapter, and it made me have a new, I told you before about my new messages that I was getting, and I might, oh, maybe I'll give you this one. Anyway, Law of Dharma in Vedic just means purpose, right? And they believe that we all have a unique talent and a unique way of expressing it. Now, you might think, Sinead, not everyone has a unique talent, right? But we all have unique ways of expressing things that probably are better than others. I am better at reading and complicated psychology books and giving them to you so that you find them lovely and you find them more relatable. I like to read things and have like, if anyone else read them, they'd be like, well, mumbo jumbo. But I'd be like, oh my God, okay, if I twist and turn this, I could actually bring this on my podcast. People will really understand it, and they would change their way of thinking. Like, that's the way I think. And that is something that I feel really good at. I actually got my human design back once, and it was basically like, told me that. It was like, you're really good at like making messages more relatable for people to understand so that they can, and it's like meditation, right? So like, obviously my Dharma is writing meditations and making it more accessible, more fun, more beautiful. Like, if you look at our app and everything is so fun and exciting. The visuals are so fun and exciting. Like, it's such a different way of meditating. And what happens is, you know, I went and did all, like, I read all these books. I did all the Vedic trainings. I went to Bali, I went to Thailand, did all these trainings, right? And I knew these trainings would not relate to the new generation. Like, I've used different aspects and different types and merged it into my own, like, method. But I knew that that was my thing. That, like, oh my God, look at all this research that meditation is literally, meditation for me could save the world. If people learned it at a young age, know how to do it and make it nice and make it juicy and make it good and make it accessible, like, the world would be completely shifted and completely changed if everyone learned it at a very young age and if everyone learned it. But unfortunately, the ways of people learning it are very, like, if you go to like, I go to Vedic classes every Monday, like, they're strict, right? You have to have a certain way. You have to have a certain mantra. You can't tell anyone else your mantra and blah, blah, blah. Like, there's a lot of things that I was like, okay, I love that, but it's not something that I don't think the new generation is going to enjoy. Like, I feel like my generation are going to enjoy this. They're excited. They want to change their energy. They want to rewire their brain for success. And that's kind of like what my thing is and what like, you can hear it in my voice. The flow is coming out of me. It's like, it's easy, but my unique talent might not be like, running the business. God, we all know I'm not very good at that. But my unique talent is making things more relatable to my audience, right? So you do have a unique talent, whether that be being a mother, whether that be being able to talk in a room full of people. Like, there's so many things that you are very good at, but you just haven't really explored. So when you go into this, you have to find out what you're good at and how you serve. So there's 3 components to your Dharma. So knowing that you're here to discover your true self and that we are spiritual beings, and about finding our higher self. Okay, so I love this one because obviously number 1 component of finding your Dharma is finding out that we are all spiritual and that all these laws work and whatever. And obviously when you go down this path and you have all these synchronicities and you start to believe in the spiritual world, that's your first part of your awakening, right? You're like, okay, I can create my own world and I can create what's going on. I can change my conditioned patterns. And then you'd be like, okay, that's step 1, right? And you're finding out your higher self. If you want to know more about higher self, lower self, I have a whole podcast on higher self, lower self. I think it's called, just type in higher self and Sinead says. But when we find that higher self, the higher self is the person who does the task. The higher self is the person who does the meditation. The higher self is the person who finishes the task and cleans the room. And, we feel in our higher selves when we're putting things in place, right? And for a long time, like, we just were automatic and we were in our lower self sometimes higher, there's a balance, but we want to lean over towards the higher self more. But when we spend more time with the higher self, the person that spends more time meditating, reading books, like growing, all this stuff, we then be like, okay, right, so that's stage 1 of your Dharma. Stage 2, expressing your unique talent or finding flow. So for me, obviously, writing meditations or finding my flow here. Like, I have a few notes in front of me, but I am flowing through this conversation. When you start to express things, you will feel it. Sam's currently in his, he's got an itch. I always say that he's got an itch, he's feeling uncomfortable in certain aspects of his life, but I'm like, that's important. The importance of uncomfortableness and wanting more growth and feeling like that and feeling that anxiety in your job or something is a very important factor in your life towards your Dharma. He's very good at marketing. He helps me with ideas for stuff. He's very good at that. I can see him getting all excited and getting, like, he's in flow when he's telling me all these ideas for the promotional comment or stuff I need to do. So expressing your unique flow, you will find that in certain things. It may not be right away, but you'll notice certain things happening in your life and you'll feel happiness and joy. And like these things are going to happen, for free. Like, I wrote meditations, did them for free all around the world for a long time before anything kind of went into fruition. I always say, like, you do it for free until you get a fee. You find what's good, you find what's joy. And I said to Sam, I was like, stop panicking. Right? Your only job this year is to find what you enjoy doing for no money. Right? That's what I tell him to do. That's all you got to do this year, babe. That's all you got to do. And we'll figure it out from there. Figure it out. And then the next element, that's the second element. The third element is to serve humanity, right? When you do all of the above, you will find a way to serve. All right. So usually your Dharma serves in some way to humanity. Like for me, obviously, you're all listening. Hopefully you feel better after this meditation. After this, mine is also writing meditations that people love and enjoy and can stick to. You know, a lot of teachers who are really in their purpose, who really love helping children find their way. I've seen a lot of that in my, I was chatting to someone in our book club, in our online book club. And she's a teacher, and the way she talked about how she loves helping the children, helping them find their ways, their emotions, I was like, that's so beautiful. You know, like there is ways to serve humanity in all aspects, whether that be at a big scale, small scale, middle scale, but it's also like, how can I serve today? All right. And then everything does end up flowing to you. But like you have to ask yourself, what do I love? What do I enjoy? And how can I help? And how can I serve? The question always is asking, how can I help? A beautiful thing that I heard today in book club is one of the girls, Catherine, her neighbour, she has dementia, like that's just her neighbour from Australia. And anyway, she ended up having to go to a home, and Catherine goes and visits her. And Catherine is just like an amazing human, and she's helping. She's thinking, how can I help? Like she didn't need to go to the hospital. Like the feeling of helping is so beautiful. It's why we're here, right? We're here to give. Giving is loving. Um, but just a little appreciation for Catherine if she's listening. But it's taken away from what's in it for me. Your Dharma is not so what's in it for me. Yeah, it feels good when you're in your Dharma, but like, how can I help humanity? You know, like earlier when I said the whole thing, I was like, okay, I was trying to manifest this house, but that house is not doing anything for humanity. If I keep doing stuff for humanity, like maybe the house will come, maybe it won't. Detachment from it all, right? And then the next thing is meditation and quietening your mind, because again, meditation takes you to the realm. A lot of like when you begin your practice, you begin your meditation, you know, you're also weaning out everyone else's thoughts for the first 3 weeks, first 4 weeks. Your meditations are constantly saying no to thoughts that aren't even yours, right? And then over time, there will be a little space. And over time, that is what's going to help you find your Dharma. It's such a corny question that people do ask is, if money wasn't a problem, what would you do? If you're doing what you're doing right now, and if money wasn't an issue, then you're in your Dharma, right? That teacher that I spoke to on book club, she's in her Dharma. Like she would do that without any money, right? Because she was just so like charged energetically by like seeing how the kids progress. If money wasn't any issue, right? So it's a question that people always ask you. You maybe hear on podcasts all the time. But it's an important one. I always say that to Sam, like, what would you do? Like, he has to wean out, right? What money? Because the first thing you think about is success is money, don't you? But what we've just spoke about before is that we need to embrace the insecurity and the unknown and go for what helps us serve humanity. But here's how to apply the law of Dharma. So make commitment to meditate, to find the higher self, because when you're doing the tasks, when you're reading the books, when you're doing all the bits, you're in your higher self. When you spend more time with your higher self, you end up finding more about yourself, like finding out more of who you truly are. And that's when you find, because that's another thing, like people don't know what they like because they're just stuck in automatic. They're stuck in go to school, get a job. Like they don't question, did I actually want to be? Because I know someone who loves being a teacher, know someone who hates being a teacher, and like everyone is different. But like it's like this sheep thing that when you're younger, it's like we all have to be teachers and we all have to work for the government, we all have to do blah, blah, blah. We have to be successful. But like some people are so destined for that and some people don't work well with that. You know, I've got ADHD. Being a teacher would mess up a lot of children's life. So let's not go down there. Mine is more like creative flow, like that's how things work for me. So how do you apply? Make commitment to meditate to your higher self, express your unique talents, and ask how you can serve. And you can close your eyes for 5 minutes and you can literally just ask for guidance. I will put in a meditation underneath, but if you like this podcast, guys, please share it with your friends. Please share. It's just me at the minute. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm going to be on maternity leave soon. Am I? Probably not. But share it. Thank you. Next week is going to be very different. So if you still enjoy these little like talks about self-development, please write them in the comments because I feel like no one cares anymore. Are we all in different eras? Are you in your mom era? Like, are you going to be in your mom mirror with me? Do you want me to continue this? Do you want me to talk more about relationships? I feel like I just need more feedback or something, because it's hard, right? Because people just listen and then they don't say, oh, that was good, that was bad, because obviously it's not like a comment section. Well, there is a comment section now, so please tell me, what do you prefer? So next week we have a guest. It's very exciting. I'm excited anyway. So anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this podcast. And if this book is free on Spotify Premium, happy days. And what else have I got? Oh yeah, if you want to join the meditation app that we have, braveway.co, and you can choose from our list of things that we've got going on. And you can use code meditate. I think it's still active. And sending you love and light. See ya.